Welcome back to Team Olympus videos. Had a request to do a Graydle Kaiju, like how to play it, the combos for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into that. We'll go ahead and start with the Graydles first. So you guys know Cobra, Eagle, Slime, and Alligator. These are the 4 cards that kind of show you how to do things and what to do. This is how I remember since playing with them, but when I first started out, this is how I remember doing it. The Eagle, since it's gold, just remember monster effects. If it's taken off the field by monster effects, it gets to take the opponent's monster. Pink for trap, it gets taken off the field by traps, it gets to take your opponent's monster. Green for spell, gets taken off the field by spell, it gets to take your opponent's monster. So let's go ahead and let's make the field right here. I know we got little dead spots, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, say we have Graydle split in the field or in our hand. We're going to lay it down for trap. Alright, we got Graydle Cobra. So, we don't know, most of the times when you go first, you always want to set them because you don't want your opponents to know what you're playing. So set it, just in case they attack you, and when they do, and if it goes to the graveyard, you get to slide it down here, take your opponent's monster. So remember that. If you're going second, it doesn't matter. You could crash into them and take the opponent's monster, but you set. Alright, so they attack you. It's 1,000, it bounces off, whatever, or you take the opponent's monster. But let's say that they didn't attack you. Next turn around, you flip it over. You're able to do the Graydle split. If you don't know what Graydle split does, it can attach to a monster. He gains 500 attack points. But you discard Graydle split and the monster, send them to the graveyard, pull out. Most of the time you're going to pull out like Eagle and Graydle Slime, go into your synchros. But this is what the combo I'm showing you. So you throw these both to the graveyard. Since Cobra did go to the graveyard by a trap effect, you can pull them down here, grab your opponent's monster. Since it was sent there. Then you have the Eagle, and then you have the Cobra out. You go into synchro, and you get your opponent's monster plus your synchro. That's one. Let's go into Alligator. This one's kind of quick and easy. Since Graydle Impact, you could target one of your Graydle monsters and your opponent's monster, and you could destroy like both of them actually. So let me show you. So activate this. You're going to target your Graydle Alligator. You send him to the graveyard. Since it was a spell card, he will come back to your field, take your opponent's monster. But you also get to discard one of their monsters. So now you take one of the other ones. So you get to eliminate basically 2 monsters for the price of 1 card. And then you also get to search out another monster at the end of your turn. Another Graydle monster. So that's another one for your combo. The last one, kind of with the Graydles, is the Eagle effect. Alright, let's say that you got Eagle and Graydle Impact. You got Graydle Slime in your hand, or the graveyard. He needs 2 Graydle cards on the field to discard. So that way, he can come on the field, special summon, get ready to synchro again. So, it's in the graveyard. We activate, we're going to send both of these to the graveyard. So, since Eagle is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, he now comes around here, take your opponent's monster, while you get him on the field, you pull out another Graydle card from your graveyard, and go into synchro, or one of your, mostly synchros. So when you pull out Dragon or whatever, try to get rid of these 2, and then attack with 3,000, and whatever your opponent has. So that's kind of it for the Graydle combos, I would say. You do a lot of stuff just by crashing into your opponent and taking their monster. That's what we do a lot. With like I don't know, let's throw him out there. So he's too high, so we'll crash into him and then bring him down here. Now we got this high monster. This is kind of what wins games because it clears your opponent's field as well as you taking the monsters. But now since we mixed with the Kaiju format, just gonna show you one other thing real quick. So we have a, we'll go with this guy. He's 3,000. Okay, Dogoran. Sorry, trying to get the thing out the glare. Dogoran. So we want a high beater monster. We don't have one yet, and your opponent's got like the 500s down. They're not gonna do much damage. So we'll go ahead and tribute one of their monsters out, because they can't stop it unless they have like I think it's Mask of Restrict where you can't tribute. So we'll crash into our own Dogoran, take 1,500 damage, but bring him back onto our side of the field. So now, this is only if you don't have like 2 Kaiju monsters in your hand. This is like worst case scenario. Otherwise, you're going to be able to do some other things. And then we got a 3,000 beater on our side of the field. But let's say that you have another Kaiju monster in your hand. Let's see if I can find one that's powerful enough. Alright, 3,300. So, we get to special summon him to the ice side of the field since your opponent controls a Kaiju monster. So now we got him. What we want to do first is attack the other Kaiju. Since we don't want our opponent to have a powerful card, he's 3,000, so we attack him, goes back to our graveyard. We attack your opponent's monster. I know he's beating him, but I'm just saying hypothetically if he's a higher card, we're going to go ahead and take his monster as well. So now we got 2 monsters, your opponent's left with like 1 monster. Now, let's go into some Kaiju things that I find kind of useful. Okay, so say you open with 3 Kaijus in your hand, right? So you want to get the most powerful one, which is a 3,300 one on your side of the field. But your opponent has 2 cards, and his defense is 2,500, his defense is 1,200. You know that you can get over the defense of some of them, but you could also tribute out kind of both the cards, or you tribute out one. Let me show you what I'm talking about for a minute. Alright, so let's start with the 2,400. We tribute him out because we gotta get rid of their cards. Special summon this onto the field. Let's just say that we had the trap down and then we activated the trap. Capture mission. Okay, let me show you what this does real quick. Let's put these down for a minute. Alright, so this one, if it has less than 3 Kaiju counters on the field, you can target any Kaiju on the field and flip it face down defense position. So basically set it again. So they no longer control a Kaiju. Then you add 1 counter to this. So I'm going to target this one, flip it face down because his defense is 2,500. But my main goal is to, I can still beat him just for the fact that he's, I think he's 2,400. So I'm not worried about 2,400. But I'm worried about him getting another thing on the field. So flip him upside down. I tribute out his other monster, which is, because this one is no longer a Kaiju. Since he controls no Kaiju monsters, he can't flip this one up and activate it. Just for the fact that if I leave this on the field, but you're not going to leave it on the field, you're going to attack over him, 300 damage, goes back to my graveyard, and now they have the defense position monster, and he's also a weak one. So you got rid of 2 monsters, both your opponent's monsters by tributing, and you gave him a weak monster now that you can get over. Just in case they had like high monsters. Like, let's just say they had 2 Graydle dragons. We'll go with that, okay? Okay, 2 Graydle dragons, both 3,000. You don't want them to have 3,000 cards, so you tribute, boom, flip it upside down with the thing, add 1 counter to it, tribute out again. Now you got rid of both their high beaters, and now you're back in like control of the game. This deck is really crazy just for the fact that it can clear the field, and there's no, you really don't have like no end to what you could do. This deck has beat Cosmos, this deck has beat Monarchs, it's beat the Pepe. This deck is, it also loses, so don't get me wrong, this deck is not end all be all. It can lose depending on if your opponent like spams the field and everything else and you can't get over his monsters. Castell hurts it because he could put monsters back into your like Graydles. He'll add it back to your deck so you can't get anything from their effects. But most of the time you'll get off before they get like their effects or anything else. You'll be able to take their monster or tribute them out. The best thing about the Kaijus is you could tribute out the problem monsters. The Castel, the Abyss Dweller, you could tribute those out so that way they don't affect your Graydles and stealing the monsters. And you could always target your own Kaijus and attack and bring them back to your side of the field. I think that's about the only combo that you have with Graydles versus you could just crash and steal monsters. That's basically it. The best combos are the ones that I showed you for the Graydles, with the Graydle Impact, the Graydle Split, and the Graydle Slime. Those are the, I'd say, the most deadliest. When that happens and you steal the opponent's monster without crashing, I bet you 9 times out of 10 they're going to take your card, try to read the card, and try to call a judge over or something. Because most people don't know about this deck. Most people don't know about what they do, so they read them. So when you steal their opponent's monster, they get pretty angry at you and then try to say you're cheating. When the judge comes over and realizes that effect for the monster, you can still take their monsters. Same thing with Alligator. This deck is just crazy. We took it to locals last night again. We went 2-2. Actually, we went 2-1 because Josh played Cosmos the first time. 2-1 in this deck, and he beat. What did he beat? You know what? I can't even tell you what he beat right now because I forgot what he played. But that's I would say the combos and how to play this deck, really. If you're going to build this deck, just have fun, play it. You can build it any way you want to. You don't have to go on my exact build. I think it's a fun deck, and it's going to get you some wins in the locals. You definitely won't finish last with this deck. You'll be able to take out, you can match up well with any deck. I'm sorry I'm rambling on and just talking, just trying to get some information out about this deck. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Check back later for more videos. Thank you guys.